AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago is number one again. Yeah, Oregon just gave us the top spot on the list of America's rattiest cities for the 10th year in a row.
Is ratty a new word for broke, for foreclosure, for led by morons who steal the money?
For a second straight year, Mayor Brandon Johnson and elected city leaders will need to figure out a way to fill a giant hole in the city.
Well, how are you guys going to figure it out? You're going to sit around and play cards like you were at Pritzker's house? How are you going to figure it out? You're going to figure it out? You stole the money! You pretended to spend it on illegals. You gave it to your contributors. You gave it to mobbed up guys. Kickback schemes. Gee, I don't know how we're going to fill it up. Why don't you tell the people how you spent it? So they could maybe have a conscious decision of if they want to be part of the bankruptcy scam of the mafia again for year 103. Jim and Lyle.
Sean, I know you remember this because we've talked about this before, but in the late 70s when former CIA agent Frank Knapp wrote Interval, and that manuscript was embargoed for years, tied up in litigation because the CIA said he was going to give up sources and methods. How is it that Bolton can actually give up classified information and still get that book published?
Because he has, you know how many years he was wired up with George Bush Sr.?
Oh, I know.
You know, and George Bush Sr., the CIA spook, the CIA scum that he was. If you look back at his legacy of corruption and failure, you trace it back to the late 50s, early 60s. You trace it back. So he cultivated Bolton since he was in high school. I just hope it wasn't one of those sick bastard Democrat relationships. But nonetheless, cultivated him through. So he has all the clout of all the bureaucrats in the high-ranking positions that are there and have been there for 40 years. So how did he publish? Could do whatever he wants.
He's famous for having like multiple legal paths, every meeting, so write crap down and like memorializing this all. And he was famous for that. And yet he still was able to get this book published, and I don't understand.
Well, when you work for the government in any capacity and you write a book about your service in the government, you're supposed to submit that documentation to the government, and you cannot print a page of it until they give you an okay. So maybe that might be one of the counts of the 18-count indictment. Who knows? But one thing I love, every Democrat loves him today. They love him. It's great.
It's hypocrisy.
No, it just goes to show you the mental disability of a Democrat. They're so interwoven with Donald Trump. These are the same Democrats who protested all of that nonsense that George Bush Sr. and Jr. sold us. They protested it for years. What was that dizzy bimbo with the pink costume on? Used to go sit outside Bush's ranch. Whatever happened to her? Does she like John Bolton too now?
This administration never said that the 9/11 attacks were orchestrated between Saddam and al-Qaeda. We did say there were numerous contacts between Saddam Hussein and al-Qaeda.
All a fracking lie. Saddam used to work for your father, you scum.
Go to war because a foreign country, because Iraq is trying to acquire nuclear weapons. That is a major issue. That is a major issue.
This is not a policy issue of any significance. It was the preparation of a fact sheet to hand to the press about the Iraqi declaration of their weapons.
They were trying to persuade the Congress to approve the War Powers Act.
India, Pakistan, Cambodia, Thailand, Kosovo, Serbia, Congo, Rwanda, Israel, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Israel, Hamas. 8 months, 8 conflicts solved. Not one Democrat has a word to say. Good. Because the whole time they were pretending to be for peace when they couldn't stand Bush and Bolton. They were just lobbying for their own welfare in this country, just like they do today. They don't give a rip about any of this nonsense.
Please clap.
Exactly. Scum Bushes. Where are the Bushes? Mitch McConnell, you look great. Get off your knees. Kamala. George, Naperville.
Yeah, Sean, when Pritzker was winning all that money gambling, did he have that pretty girl next to him? I think her name was Plenty.
Listen, the best excuse he's got is I was not going to go up to the room because I think the missus was in the mood. And if you ever took a look at the missus and she's in the mood, I would be willing to lose everything I have at the table to not go in the room with that heifer.
And I'm not a jealous person.
Like that size.
Congratulations on your winnings, but cannot relate to the average man.
Until you've got a sense of reality of what a dollar means, you can't judge accurately what needs to happen with the tax regimen. And I
like this because the fat pig who inherited, never earned billions of dollars, wins $1.4 million. And Markham, which is a town that, if you're kind, they froze the rents for people who own real estate. So now Markham, the real estate foreclosures will go through the roof. Purchase prices will go down to the turlet. And every moron in Markham who has the government tell them that the rent is frozen, they'll vote for that fat slob governor who just won more money than they can dream of.
So there's a little bit of controversy about this plan, but it's aimed at improving the housing market in one community. A freeze on new rentals of single-family homes has been extended in the city of Markham. NBC5's Regina Wald.
By the way, let me explain something to you. If the government can tell you you cannot rent your property, it's not your property. They're going to watch people go bankrupt in a if I'm kind, neighborhood. They're going to watch them. They're hanging on by their fingernails. What's the median home price in Markham? Is it $170,000? If you got the wind behind you and you're lucky, you could buy property there for $70,000, and next year you'll buy it for $20,000. And everywhere these Democrats are living in absolute poverty low, who do they vote for? The fat pig who won't pay his taxes wins $1.4 million on a weekend. You guys make great slaves, you Democrats in Illinois. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois. In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world. This is the Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.